know that you're going into a turn. You're that close to one another, and you just have to trust that everybody, look, you're racing hard. There's no doubt about that. But at the same time, that nobody's going to get too aggressive and jerk. In the last 8 minutes, we'll see if the aggressive goes up. Yes, it does. Ortiz is going to go now over. Bryan Ortiz made contact with Kenton Cook, and that car now is upside down. And Bryan Ortiz has come to a stop here as the caution will come out.
I can tell you exactly how that happened. They came out of 10, and Ortiz slid a little wide on the exit of 10, which we've seen drivers do all weekend. They slid wide, and then when he tried to come back onto track, the 12 of Kenton Cook was there. And we're going to try to get a replay right here as he went for a bounce through 11. I think they're going to cue it up for us right here as the field is under the control of the safety car. There you see Ortiz runs wide on the exit of 10. Cook holds his line, does not give up any room. He shouldn't have to. Ortiz tries to come back on track. Those two make contact side to side. And, boy, it jacked the right side of Ortiz's car up in the air. And after that, he was just kind of along for the ride.
And that car comes to a stop, and Bryan Ortiz that we had talked about, now the field behind the pace car. The leader is Patrick Gallagher. Behind him would be Matt Cresci, then Kenton Cook. Luke Oxner, Robert Stout rounding out the top 5. The clock is ticking on this second race here at Laguna Seca. And, of course, our hope is that Bryan Ortiz is okay inside of that machine as they work underneath it.
So as we wait to see how Bryan Ortiz does out of this car, I just want to let you know Peter Calhoun from BF Goodrich has dropped us a note to say that race 2 would have started on stickers, so wear and heat cycles are not an issue. Shouldn't be an issue as we see the end of this race.
Well, Pete Calhoun, we appreciate you chiming in. It's probably not the first time this weekend I've been wrong, but yeah, that's a good point. They started on stickers, so heat cycles wouldn't have to be such an issue. We are under a full course yellow here, so quickly we're going to step aside and identify some of the great partners that make this weekend of racing possible.
The best in terms of his status, and there you see it.
Bryan.
That's the best news that you're going to see all day. That is Bryan Ortiz, as you see, and one can assume, understandably so, perhaps a little bit discombobulated, I'm sure incredulous as to what happened, but the best news is Bryan Ortiz now undoing that fire suit, and he has walked away. Mo, as we take another look at it now, and you see that car getting loose, you talked about the safety. You talked about the way these cars are assembled in North Carolina. You talked about the commitment to making sure the drivers are safe. You're looking at essentially, 3 or 4 different complete rollovers for Bryan Ortiz and walking away from that Mazda, and that is great to see.
It's so good to see Bryan walking away from that. I've only ever seen one of these cars upside down once before. Remember Tim Probert got upside down and Barber off the grid?
We started our season in Alabama with a flip, and we end it, unfortunately, here on the West Coast with a rollover. We can joke about it now because both Tim Probert and Bryan Ortiz walked away. But discombobulated, and I can't even remember the other word you used, Jake, but those were important-sounding words.
I think incredulous.
Incredulous, boy.
But one other thing we should note here, turn 11 here at Mazda Raceway, he didn't hit anything other than